I love chickpeas. My personal preference for many reasons, the main one being taste, is actually cooking my chickpeas from dried. So I soak them and then I cook them in my pressure cooker. So yeah, whatever way you want to prepare these recipes, whether it's using dried or tinned chickpeas, it's all going to be delicious. All of these recipes are vegan, vegetarian friendly. If you would like to check out more of my recipes, make sure you head over to my website. Let me know which recipe you plan to try out first. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's jump into the first chickpea/garbanzo recipe, whatever you want to call it. Let's go. Let's head to the kitchen. So the first recipe is this Harissa chickpea and sun-dried tomato tray bake. We're going to grab things that we have readily available in our kitchen and we're going to make this exquisite, delicious, perfect weekday meal that will not disappoint. So for my tray bake, I chose to use some tenderstem. Broccoli will work just as well. I love roasting tenderstem and broccoli, it's just the best. So I wanted to add a vibrant feel, some vibrant color and flavor, some sweetness to this dish. So I used some red onion and I also used a sweet potato. You're gonna see how I work the sweet potato so everything cooks at the same time in just a minute. So hands down, my favorite summer vegetable. When courgettes and zucchini are in season, I go crazy for them. I am wild for them. I will cook them, eat them every single day. I absolutely love them. So for a little something extra special, these sun-dried tomatoes will transform this dish. If you can get hold of some, honestly, it will make all the difference. And then of course, the main element of this dish, we're gonna be using some chickpeas. We're gonna spice them up, season them up. So to bring this tray bake to life, we wanna bring everything to life that we're eating because food is life. We are going to be using lots and lots of dried herbs. My favorite, herb de Provence. So to flavor up the chickpeas, we don't want any bland chickpeas. We're going to be using some harissa paste and spices like smoked paprika, which is just gonna just make it so good. So to finish this dish off, I love adding a little bit of creamy feta. I love that creamy element with the sun-dried tomatoes once they're roasted. So to prepare this tray bake, we're going to start with the chickpeas. So I took my cooked chickpeas, placing them in a bowl, and I threw over the harissa paste, some smoked paprika, some garlic granules, some herb de Provence, some sea salt, black pepper, and I swirled on that olive oil. We really want to crisp these chickpeas up. We're going to give them a good mix, combine everything, make sure all of the chickpeas are coated with this beautiful seasoning. So this is all about free flow cooking. Grab what you want from your cupboard. I chose to add some crushed cumin seeds because I just love cumin on roasted chickpeas. You can give the chickpeas a little taste at this point. If they taste good, you're happy with them, then that's fine. Set them aside. If you need to add a little something extra, then go ahead and do that. To prep the vegetables, I simply cut the tender stem in half. I sliced up the red pepper. I chopped up the courgettes and cut the red onion into thick, chunky wedges. To make sure everything cooks at the same rate, we're going to slightly cook this sweet potato by steaming it. So I just cut it into wedges, put it to steam for about 5 to 6 minutes. Simply grab a large baking tray, placing on all your chopped vegetables, including the steamed sweet potato. Now we're going to season the vegetables. Season at every stage, okay? Seasoning is important. So we're going to place on some sea salt, some black pepper, dried herbs, a drizzle of olive oil, making sure everything was covered. I threw on some sliced garlic cloves, those sun-dried tomatoes, and then I placed on the harissa chickpeas, making sure everything was spread out evenly, and then I whacked it in the oven. So simple. Let it cook down until it was looking gorgeous and golden, just like this. Then I placed on the feta, followed on by some fresh parsley, gave it some more black pepper. A really simple recipe, a perfect midweek recipe that you can actually bring to life. It doesn't have to be bland and boring. It can be flavoursome and yummy and delicious. Before we move on to the second recipe, I want to say a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is my go-to online learning community which offer an array of classes. So wherever your interests lie, whatever you want to deepen your knowledge more about or just jump into, they have classes from business to design to film to candle making to gardening. The most recent class that I took is called Fundamentals of French Pastry Making by Choubranchou Bandeau. So this class taught me the essential techniques and precision that goes into French patisserie. Honestly, one of the most incredible art forms. It's just genius. First 1,000 people to click the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. After that, it's around $10 a month. So take this opportunity, go click the link, and thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's head straight back to the kitchen for the second recipe. It wouldn't be right for me to do a chickpea recipe video and not include my absolute favorite golden, crunchy, tasty, delicious chickpea waffle recipe. These waffles are taken from my ebook Balance. They are still one of my favorite recipes to date, and I'm going to share them with you right now. So for these savory chickpea waffles, we're going to be using some spring onions, red onion, red pepper. We're going to be using some fresh coriander, which really just injects life into these waffles, just takes it to the next level. I like to use a combination of spelt flour and chickpea flour. I find that just using chickpea flour, the waffles are a little bit too dry for my liking. I like moistured food, but of course, if you want to keep it gluten-free, you could use a flour like buckwheat, or you can keep it 100% chickpea flour. So adding and combining these warming spices is essential for this chickpea waffle recipe. So we're going to be using some curry powder, garam masala, cumin, some turmeric, some garlic powder, some chili flakes, and of course some sea salt and black pepper. We're also going to add a little bit of olive oil to the mixture. This is going to keep it nice and moist. We don't want a dry waffle. Well, I don't want a dry waffle anyways. I'm also going to be adding in some milk of choice. I'm choosing to use oat milk. So to prepare this waffle, we're going to start by finely chopping up the spring onions, followed on by finely chopping up the red peppers. We want to get everything small. Finely chop the red onions too. So grab a bowl and place in your chickpea flour, followed on by your spelt flour, and place in all the spices, including the garam masala, turmeric powder, cumin powder, garlic powder, chili flakes. We've got sea salt and black pepper. So pour in your milk of choice and start to beat it up. Start beating it up. Start to whisk everything, combine everything together until smooth, and then you're going to swirl in that olive oil. That olive oil is going to give that, I just love olive oil with everything. Okay, then we're going to place in all of our finely chopped vegetables. So our spring onions, red peppers, and our red onions, and our finely chopped fresh coriander. So fold everything in very gently. So I'm going to quickly show you what I like to top my waffles with before we actually make the waffles. So I like to make up some type of roasted potatoes. So I grab my potatoes, I parboil them for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then I place them on a tray with some dried herbs, some smoked paprika. I also placed on some garlic powder and a drizzle of olive oil, some sea salt, black pepper. Whacked them in the oven until they were crispy and looking something beautiful and delicious and mouth-watering like this. I also like to cook up some asparagus, especially if and when it's in season. If it's not, then yeah, I don't know, I might work with whatever I have on hand. So back to cooking the waffle. I heated up my waffle iron and I placed in that chickpea waffle batter. Just closed the waffle iron, so simple. Opened it up when it was ready to be devoured and enjoyed. And yeah, I just plated my chickpea waffle up. So I threw on those roasted potatoes, that cooked asparagus, and I love throwing on some coconut yogurt. And I grabbed this apricot chutney, which is just the best. Threw in some fresh coriander, a little bit of black pepper to finish. And yes, every single bite of these waffles was enjoyed by me. I love this recipe. I know you guys are going to enjoy it too if you try it out. Final recipe is actually a recipe that I haven't made in quite a long time, and I forgot how delicious it was. We're going to be making some chickpea burgers. Super simple, yummy, delicious, tasty, can be enjoyed by everybody. So it goes without saying, we're going to be needing some chickpeas, drained and washed if you're using tinned. So we're going to be using some sweet potato. We're also going to be using some sunflower seed butter. Now, I just use this, it kind of acts as a binder. You could actually use tahini in place. I think tahini would be a good alternative if you can't find sunflower seed butter. So we're going to pack these burgers with flavor. We're going to be using tons of fresh herbs. When I say tons, I mean tons. Fresh coriander, fresh parsley. We're going to be using garlic, red onion. We're going to throw in some spices like some cumin powder. We're going to be using some dried herbs, obviously, of course, along with some chili flakes. And then we're going to be needing some breadcrumbs, because these are going to coat the chickpea burgers and make them crispy and just delightful. So the first step in making our chickpea burgers is to peel and chop up our sweet potato, put it to steam, put it to boil. We're just going to cook it until soft. Finally chop up your red onion, crush and finally chop up your garlic. So to bring out the flavour of the onions and garlic, I prefer cooking mine beforehand. So I just threw them in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, just cooked them on a really low heat, just kind of softening everything, bringing all the flavours out. So I grabbed my food processor, throwing in the cooked chickpeas, followed on by the fresh coriander and fresh parsley. I threw in the cooked onions and garlic, the steamed sweet potato, the chili flakes, the dried herbs, the cumin powder. I threw in that sunflower seed butter, gave it some good sea salt and black pepper. So we're going to gently blitz the mixture. We don't want to turn it into like a smooth paste. We want texture. This is going to hold the burgers together. So place your mixture into a bowl and throw in a little bit of chickpea flour. Again, this is going to act as a binder. You'll be able to get around 4 to 6 burgers out of this mixture. So you're going to simply just shape them using your clean hand, and then you're going to cover them with the breadcrumbs. So repeat the step until you've used all of the mixture up. So there are actually a couple of ways to cook these burgers. You can place them into a 200-degree oven and leave them to cook for around 20 to 25 minutes. Or you can cook them on the fire like I did. I placed my burgers to cook on a low to medium heat, cooking for around, I'd say like 5 to 7 minutes on each side. Grab your favorite burger toppings, whether it's a little bit of lettuce and tomatoes, some red onions. I pickled these red onions, some ketchup, relish, mayonnaise, whatever your thing is, whatever your jam is. Just build your burger. Grab your buns, build your burger. Another mind-blowing, beautiful, delicious chickpea recipe. Chickpeas are so versatile. They will forever be one of my favorite things to cook with. Let me know which one you'll be trying out first in the comments below. If you have any questions, yeah, just shoot away, ask me. I will see you guys in my next video. See you soon. Bye.